Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back. 'Cause I'm technically on the clock, so forgive me. So we're gonna go back to that discussion of the egos and the self righteousness. Kind of share the clarity on actual intent, right? So let's get into how this case is reported, for instance. And at this point, I've kind of given y'all my feedback on the case and where I expect it to go and the strategy and so on. This is just about the meat and potatoes of how I got to this thinking, right? So let's take a look at Jason Lee, right? Because I did not realize how much of an antagonist he was until I went back and I was like, oh, he really been out here wilding for a little minute. And I remember him being the voice of disdain for Meg. But let's take a look at it. Even down to how it's reported. This particular screenshot shows like the day one details, like just small nuance things. And notice what Jason includes in the post that has been reshared amongst several platforms. You don't think that that's odd? So the problem is that his dislike for her is evident. And I don't know if it's more the dislike for her than it is for his need to be right. Like, I don't know which one, but the combination of the two yields this perfect culmination of I'm just going to continue to talk smack about her. I'm going to continue to smear her. Hence the examples we have here.
Megan Thee Stallion is back clout chasing a prisoner. She's getting a restraining order against the guy who allegedly shot her. Megan Thee Stallion has been granted a restraining order against Tory Lanez, who's currently serving a 10-year sentence at the California Correctional Institution, a supermax facility in Tallahatchie. Now, in December 2022, Tory, as you know, was convicted in Megan's 2020 shooting. He was found guilty with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded and unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging the firearm with gross negligence. Now, about a month ago, Megan and her attorneys requested that her temporary order from last November be extended. Megan's accusing Tory of subjecting her to repeated trauma and re-victimization, further claiming that his alleged continued harassment has caused her severe emotional distress and reputational harm. Now, in the filing, Tory is being accused of harassing Megan on social media and enlisting third parties to do the same. Megan accuses Tory of having blogger Milagros bully, harass, and further victimize her online. Now, I will say, I know Tory and Milagro were allegedly business partners or going into business together. And I'm sure it was to somehow further his agenda of getting his narrative out there, but all celebrities do that. Megan, there was a small period of time where she was wanting to build with me, but her alcoholism and the all ongoing attacks of EJ King and all the different things that she was doing to me, reporting on him, strained that relationship. So we've since moved on since there. But why are you getting a restraining order against Tory? Didn't she just drop a whole documentary where she talked about Tory in the whole interview? Tory's team is firing back, called cap on the whole situation. Now, she called cap on her claiming that he's had zero contact with her directly. Now, Tory's legal team instead accuses Megan and her team of using millions of dollars in large corporations to weaponize the justice system to further tear down Tory, who maintains his innocence in the shooting. Now, despite Tory being in a supermax and fighting back, a judge said Megan's team has provided enough evidence to grant her a full restraining order until January 2030. Is Megan the problem?
Tory said to me, hold on. Tory Lanez. Let me go back to the pre-stabbing dates. Hold on.
Oh, God.
Tory Lanez. Okay. In a text message between Tory and I said, yo. He said, what's good? I said, how you surviving that bullshit? Wish we could have sat down before you left. Because me and him hung out with Madonna when they were messing around. Don't believe me? Take a look at this photo. I said, do you have a number? He said, what's yours? Let me move on to the text messages now. Then we started to text message each other. I said, how are you? How you been? He said, incredible, in very high spirits and preparing to physically come home this year. I said, when? I need to come in there and get an interview. LOL. He said, I can't say exact days, but I know I'll be home this year. I said, how long you been gone? I'm so confused by your case. He said, actually, I have a crazy plan when I get back that I think you should know and be a part of because I'm only going to do one interview. And he said he's been gone 2.5 years. I said, I want to be a part of that plan. He said, it's honestly a bunch of suppressed evidence that was kept away from me during trial. I said, Wack told me that, but didn't say what. He said, like through trial, they keep saying it was inconclusive on the gun DNA, but I always knew I never touched the gun. So I asked my lawyer to retest it. And sure enough, I was 102% excluded completely from everything, just like I said. I said, well, why didn't you just say who did it? Doing time for something you ain't do. He said, I took the rap for Kelsey, never wanted her to go to jail, and I never wanted Megan to get hurt or anything. So in me stopping her from getting shot, I got the raw deal. Crazy how life works. And to think they made me the poster boy for the unprotection of black women, when in all honesty, I protected 2 black women, one from getting shot and one from going to jail. Never said nothing in 8 to 10 years for them to live. It's a crazy, crazy place we live in. I said, but why you ain't just say that? When I got shot, I told. And he said, I lost my mother at 11 years old. I couldn't sleep with myself. I was the reason for taking a mother away from her kid. I just couldn't do it. Tory Lanez.
He's better than me.
And again, I truly believe if Tory Lanez is innocent, he should be freed and he should be compensated for time that he was wrongly convicted. But I also believe the person who pulled the trigger, that person should go to jail. And if Meg conspired to set him up and lie on him, of course she should do time. But I'm just saying, in an instance like this, and
I don't like this long-winded explanation.
No,
but the word conspired is so problematic because even if she didn't know, then she doesn't know. She can't say.
That's what I'm saying. So in an instance like this, we should all agree, if I'm in a situation that I did not know what happened, I shouldn't go to jail for that. Because I wouldn't want that for you. But I'm saying if the person did lie intentionally and set the other person up, she should go to jail.
Megan, you might be going to jail.
So he's been clear about how he feels about her, and he was more than comfortable with doing Tory's bidding. And the truth of the matter is that the hate comments that he receives about her are equally valuable in regards to engagement and impressions on his social media. But as you can see, he'll protect Cardi at all costs. Now, remember, we talked about this the other day when we talked about conditioning. If you keep telling somebody the same thing under certain circumstances, it sticks, it sticks, it sticks. And if you pay attention, you'll see, like, every time people are trying to make the argument about rap and what rap is or isn't doing, interesting enough, people just keep throwing Meg's face on it. And I'm like, of all the people, like, I seen somebody post, like, Meg and Ice Spice next to each other. And I said, y'all are disrespectful as hell. That's another story for another day. But anyway, I don't think that he should stop protecting Cardi. I think that that's the right thing to do. I don't think that it's necessary to punch down on Meg. It's kind of like, if you don't like her, just don't engage her. But people want the value that comes with her. They just don't want her to be recognized in a positive light. This is my perception, right? And in essence, the missed opportunity to cease silence proves intent. So now we are recognizing over and over that there is an active set of people that are cool with Tory, that are constantly dogpiling on Meg as a collective. Not just one-off, not just like an opinion here and there, not just like, I'm not really sure. No, real deal, like we are pushing content to allege and confuse folks. Now we got Livingston. He was talking a lot of smack. A couple months ago, everybody was like, oh no, he handled them lawyers. He this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. Let me see if I can find something to insert in here. Y'all know I like my reference points.
She perjured herself on the stand at the criminal trial? Is that
I wouldn't know. That would be something the prosecutors would have to answer. But that, we've rarely seen prosecutors turn back around and go for perjury charges on someone that they needed as a star witness. So I don't know. Again, I can't tell you what the truth is.
I didn't really ask you how frequently prosecutors decide whether or not they're going to charge somebody with perjury. I mean, you've been sitting here telling me your personal opinion about this trial and whether or not Miss Pete is a liar. So my question to you is, do you believe she perjured herself on the stand?
You're asking me if I think she did not tell the truth?
Yeah, that's what perjury means.
Okay, I didn't believe her. Not at all. At all. I believe.
So you believe she perjured herself on the stand?
Now, that's another, like, I don't know where they got this lawyer. Like, I don't know where they got this lawyer over there at Quinn Emanuel, but I did not want to answer to the term perjury because that's actually a legal and a criminal act. The act of perjury is a criminal act. So if I say she perjured herself, it means I fully believe that she could or should be charged with perjury. Me saying she's a liar doesn't mean the same as she perjured herself. So it's a little like they're using very little nuances, but they want to get like yes or no declarative statements that they could grab to bring to their bigger trial, which is going to be the Milagros thing, or they got other things that they probably are planning. Right.
He was going off. He thought he had it, and now check out the new tone.
I'm in Florida, so you know Meg suing that blogger. I was going to pop up in court. Feel me? I just want to make sure everything good. I mean, I ain't see Meg walk since, you know what I mean, the whole thing happened. I just want to make sure she's straight. I was going to pop up to the trial. She testified today, too. But after what I seen that did Aiden, nigga, I said, I'm good. Yo, Aiden went in for a deposition. They served that nigga with an extra subpoena, took his phone, went through his messages. Yo, Rock Nation on bad timing, man. So I was going to go into court to watch Meg testify and do the fake tears and lie, you know, habitual. But I said, I'm good. I'm not trying to be nowhere with Rock Nation and them Secret Service people with an extra subpoena.
Check him out, having a whole new conversation about Rock Nation is trying to, and Rock Nation, and they want to silence him, and they wanted this, regurgitating the same garbage that is mentioned in the comment sections and so on, the same conspiracy theories. And what happens? The validation of commenters, that's equally valuable. Going back to that stand culture conversation that we was having once upon a time, right? So as I mentioned, right, the need to be right is going to lead to people hyper scrutinizing, unreasonably deducing things that don't have anything to do with each other. You know, the conspiracies of Rock Nation being Illuminati, but nobody is talking about Elon Musk being Illuminati. Like all of his money is legit and he's fine. But you know, we'll leave that one alone. So going back to what's happening with Millie. Her first few trial appearances, like they have come up, and I tell y'all all the time, like I have reason to believe I'm a bit hyper vigilant again because my environment was a little particular, if you will. And a lot of people see calmness or the presentation of calmness as a fact of calmness. And that is not actually true, right? I've definitely grown up and, you know, you see people act real cool and it's nothing going on and they slap somebody, right? Because this is a part of the presentation to catch you off guard. So in my purview, she doesn't look like somebody that is particularly calm or sure of what's going to happen. And I think that it's reasonable. I will give her credit, right, to the fact that she is, I want to say, optimizing to the best of her ability, because after this is all said and done, she's still going to have to make a living for herself. She's still going to have to make ends and take care of her kids and all of the things. And again, I will say that she made this bet. I'm trying not to be mean about it. She made this bet. And hopefully there is a redemption arc for her that includes her getting some help and being the better or best version of herself, right? Past this moment and past this circumstance. That's my hope. But I will acknowledge the fact that the deleted message is the gang of people that wanted to quash their depositions, the sanctions and contempt orders, and just the shared negative banter and the quantity of just bad stuff that she was saying about Meg. This really paints a very clear picture of poor intent, right? This is the most significant smear campaign I've ever seen in the history of music and music making. Like I've never seen this like this before. Um, and this doesn't pan out well for Milagros. Like I told y'all before, if Tori would have got up and said like, nah, I said X, Y, and Z to her, and this is why she believed that, and this is why she was so passionate, there might have been some room for grace. But then there's a reality around the fact that that would also lean into the spiteful narrative, right? Because you did that because this is your friend and so on and so forth, and punching down that point. I'm also going to acknowledge the fact that Jason Lee did not mention or post that Tory was held in contempt because he refused to testify, even though he was the one that reported that Tory wanted to protect two Black women. We'll pop that in there too. So we're watching the new narrative form that Meg is, is just the rich bully. I prefer that than the feeling the need that you could just jump, punch down, and talk smack and all of these other things. I'm one of those people that's like, yo, if you don't like something, you don't have to engage with something. But the active intention to jump into her spaces and create negative waves around her through her projects and that sort of thing, I'm like, yeah, the reputational harm for me is absolutely clear, because we can go in any space and see that people are still going off, still suggesting free Tory and all this other stuff, and still acting as though she's a terrible person that put him in harm's way. Meanwhile, he was the one that had blickied at her. And then, like, his appeal actually said, well, she knew the gun was there, so she could have just got out the way. Like, I've never seen this before in my life. But you know what? Shout out to the people that come to the internet for regurgitation and the herd effect. But all in all, I'm wishing Meg the best, and I hope that she gets out of this pocket and can get back to living her life. But I gotta acknowledge the fact that that's a tough cookie, man. Because I won't sit here and lie like I might not have. I would have been outside. I'd have been outside like snatching people up for real, especially Livingston, especially because I just know he's not tough. This is my opinion, facts. Like I just know he's not tough. I know he was never the guy that was outside running down on nobody. And just off GP, like just off of him being extra soft, I would have been in his mouth, bro.
Everything we've talked about, bro, I've never cared about. I don't care what rapper got at me, bro, ever. But like, really, there's certain shit I really don't fuck with in my life, and I would never do. But like, I gotta sit here and act like I know I'm in America. I gotta sit here and just act like I don't fuck with certain shit. I would never like it.
Wow. I didn't realize how much frustration I felt until just now. I'm gonna get out of here. Yo, thanks for watching. I love y'all. Bye.